Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox. I'm the Compliance Evangelist, and I'd like to welcome you to 1 Month to Better Third-Party Management. This month's podcast series is sponsored by Opus. Opus helps free your business from the complexity and uncertainty of managing the risks associated with your customers, vendors, and third parties. By combining the most innovative third-party risk management and know your customer compliance SaaS platforms with unparalleled data solutions, Opus turns information into action so your business can thrive. Opus solutions include the Hyperos ABAC Accelerator, the leading platform for third-party risk management. To learn more, go to www.opus.com. Opus is an appropriate sponsor for this month as I'm focusing on third parties, the third-party risk management process. Over the next couple of weeks, I'll be looking at the management of third parties after the contract is signed. We're going to take a look at auditing, relationship management, training, continually monitoring and updating your own third-party program. This is an incredibly important month on my 1 month series this year, and I'm sure that you will garner some new techniques that you can incorporate directly into your third-party risk management program. This is Tom Fox. Thank you very much for listening. Day 11, Auditing of Third Parties. Auditing of third parties is critical to any best practices compliance program and an important tool in operationalizing your compliance program. Today, I will focus on the third-party audit program in a compliance function. This is a key manner in which a company can manage the third-party relationship after the contract is signed, and one which the government will expect you to engage in going forward. You should plan out 4 to 6 weeks in advance before you perform the audit with your legal counsel to preserve privilege, work with a business sponsor to establish key business contacts, discuss audit rights and the processes with a third party. You should prepare an initial document request listing requests for financial information or financial information queries. Take the time to review the findings from previous audits and resolutions, and also review details of open and closed internal investigations if there are any. If there are any codes of conduct questionnaires available, take care to review them, and finally be cognizant of any related DOJ or SEC enforcement actions in your industry or in the geographic area. The next step is to determine the entry points of the foreign government involvement, generally direct and indirect. The direct category includes custom and duties, corporate taxes, penalties, Social Security or national insurance issues for employees, obtaining in-country visas and work permits, public official gifts, entertainment, training of and attended travel for foreign officials or employees of state-owned entities, procurement of business licenses and permits to perform work, and finally areas around police escort and security. In the indirect category, some of the key areas to review are customs agents and freight forwarders, visa processors and commercial sales agents, including distributors, and finally those who might be consultants or other channel partners. Document review and selection is important for this process, and you should ask for as much electronic information as possible well in advance of your audit. It is much easier to get database records for internal audits than audits of third parties. Try and obtain records in database or Excel spreadsheet format and not in simply PDF. Request the following categories of documents: trial balance, chart of accounts, journal entry, line items, financial and compliance policies, prior audited financial statements, bank records and statements, a complete list of agents or intermediaries, and revenue of the third party by country and customer. Your lead interviewer needs to be culturally sensitive, patient, and must negotiate a good working relationship with the forensic auditors on your team who will be reviewing the documents from their professional perspective. Regarding potential interviewees, focus on who interacts with government officials, rather government entities, foreign officials, or third parties, including personnel involved with business leadership, sales, marketing, and business development, operations, logistic, and corporate functions such as human resources, finance, health, safety, environmental, real estate, and legal. For the interview topics, there are several lines of inquiry. Remember, this is an audit interview, not an investigative interview. You should not play the gotcha card in this format. You should avail yourself of the opportunity to engage in training while you are interviewing people. Some of the topics you could interview on or should interview on include general policies and procedures, books and records pertaining to FCPA risks, test knowledge of the FCPA and UK Bribery Act, including facilitation payments and your company's policies on them, regulatory challenges they face, any payments of taxes, fees, or fines, government interactions they have on your behalf, and other compliance areas you may be concerned about that would impact your company, including trade, anti-boycott, AML, and antitrust. In review of the general ledger accounts, you should consider commission payments to agents and representatives, any facilitation payments made, all payments around gifts, charitable contributions, political donations, and sales and promotion expenses. If there were payments made for customs or freight forwarders or other processing agents, permits, license, taxes, or other regulatory expenses should also be reviewed. Additionally, any entries pertaining to community contributions and social responsibility payments should be assessed. And finally, a review of security payments, extortion payments, payments to legal consultants, tax advisors, or fines and penalties should be considered. For gifts, travel, and entertainment, you should explore payments made through employee reimbursed expenses, scrutinizing for any suspicious payments submitted, expenses lacking adequate documentation and correct posting, and identify and review accounts associated with gifts, meals, travel, and entertainment or promotion. In the area of payroll, consider the risks around using ghost employees, hiring relatives of government employees, and the use of bonus payments, and be sure to request a payroll listing and review of such persons. Around training, you should determine whether the company provides industry-specific training to government entities and review general ledger accounts and expenses for related items, particularly in the compliance realm. In taking a look at payments under local laws, you should obtain a list of payments made to the government required by local laws and identify and review payments to government authorities, customs authorities or agents, income tax authorities, or license requirements. For payments made to third parties, you should review commissions and expense payments in compliance with your policy and trace the payments to the bank account. Bank accounts and cash disbursements controls should also be considered. You should take a look at controls around bank accounts and cash disbursements, identify and review authorized signatures, approval levels, and bank reconciliations, identify all bank accounts that are included in the general ledger, identify and review bank and cash disbursements and transactions, and finally, identify offshore bank accounts. In the area of cash funds, review controls around petty cash, ascertain processes in place regarding distribution and reconciliation of cash funds, identify and review payments to government officials, agents, or any unusual or suspicious activity, and finally, identify and review bank transactions and test for improper payments. So what are today's 3 key takeaways? Well, first and foremost, it's be prepared. And that means you need to plan out your audit protocol in a very detailed basis. As I indicated, really 4 to 6 weeks out of your audit is when you should begin to collect documents, collect witness names for interviews, and generally prepare for the process. And in the interim period of obtaining the documents and actually doing the audit, you need to study those documents. Also remember, this is not an investigative interview, but it's an audit interview. You're not there to challenge findings. You're not there to play lawyer gotcha. You're not there to play prosecutor. You're there to obtain information. It may be that this audit interview or audit review will lead to something that you need to follow up more on, perhaps a little more aggressively. But never forget that that's not the purpose of this exercise. And finally, use your business leadership hat and listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Listen, listen, listen. The more you can listen, the more information you'll find out. If you can't elicit information, ask very open-ended, broad questions and get the interviewee to talk. So listen, listen, listen. This is Tom Fox. I hope you've enjoyed day 11, auditing of third parties, and I hope you will join me tomorrow for day 12 of 1 month to better third-party management. This is Tom Fox. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of 1 month to better third-party management. If you have listened to this podcast on iTunes, I would greatly appreciate it if you would rate this podcast, as it will help our rankings and help us get the word out on this most unique podcast series in compliance. Also, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at tfox@tfoxlaw.com. This is Tom Fox. Thank you very much for listening to today, and I hope you will listen tomorrow on another episode of 1 month to a better third-party management.